This is President Trump. Smash the like button if you agree that Drew McIntyre and Dirty Dom are the MVPs of Monday Night Raw in 2024.
So who do I think is the men's fake pro wrestler of the year in 2024? It is a toss-up between Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy, and Cody Rhodes. I'm talking about in the World Wrestling Federation. It is a toss-up between those two men. Now, if we are talking about all elite fake pro wrestling, come on, man. It ain't close. It is Isaiah Swerve Scott. I think this year, Isaiah Swerve Scott has been all elite fake pro wrestling's MVP on their roster. I think he is the #1 guy in that company as we speak, because you got to go back and watch the backstage segment between Isaiah Swerve Scott and Ricochet. Even though he did bury Ricochet, man, Isaiah Swerve Scott, man, he got a monster pop by the audience. Man, that was loud. They were cheering Isaiah Swerve Scott. That guy, he is still over. The moment Swerve popped up on the screen, they were cheering for Isaiah Swerve Scott. But they don't give two shits about Ricochet. So my take is, man, why would you come here? This might be the dumbest signing of all time. So he comes here, he thinks he was held back in the World Wrestling Federation, but he comes here. The crowd don't give two shits about Ricochet. Hell, they toss toilet paper at this guy. They don't care about Ricochet. You was better off on Raw. You was better off jobbing out to Braun Breaker and liking it. They clearly saw Ricochet on the Titantron talking to Dean Ambrose's wife. But the moment they saw Swerve, they gave him a huge pop. Bruh, that's embarrassing. You was better off on SmackDown and Raw. That's embarrassing. But to make a long story short, I think Swerve is the wrestler of the year in all elite fake pro wrestling. Hands down over Max, over Will Ospreay, over Adam Page, over Dean Ambrose. He is #1. He is the wrestler of the year in that company. So let's talk about who's the male wrestler of the year in the World Wrestling Federation. Like I said, it is a toss-up between Cody Rhodes and Drew Mac. I might have to go with Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy, based on what he did with CM Junk. Based on all year long, Drew Mac was the MVP of Raw. He was the reason fans were watching, because there was no CM Junk. That guy was at home doing shit, being injured in rehab. So Drew Mac was carrying that feud via his promos. So by that same logic, I also think Drew Mac is the best promo of the year, because he carried CM Junk all year long, even though CM Junk was barely on the show. Like I said, he's part-time. Drew Mac is full-time, which means he was forced to carry that feud. Drew Mac is also the king of social media. He was also carrying the World Wrestling Federation on social media. He is the king troll. He was trolling CM Junk all year long. This guy took a photo with Jack Perry. He trained with Brian Cage. He was trolling CM Junk all year long. In interviews, watch the Pat McAfee interview. He was trolling CM Junk in that interview. I believe that Drew Mac was keeping CM Junk relevant because we was barely seeing him. So who else was keeping CM Junk relevant on Raw if he was barely on the show? It was Drew Mac. Listen, Cody Rhodes is the face of the company. So to say he is the wrestler of the year, well, that's like saying a prime John Cena is the wrestler of the year. I mean, come on, man. That ain't fair. Let's give other people some shine, like a Drew Mac. We know that Cody Rhodes is the true face of the company. We are talking about in the year of 2024. It is Drew Mac. I think guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rocky Maivia, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, guys like that, I feel like they should be excluded from being called the wrestler of the year in the World Wrestling Federation. Because why? We know you are the face of the company. So let's give other talent some shine. So by that logic, Cody Rhodes can't be called the wrestler of the year every year, but that ain't fair. That's why I chose Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy, because he is not the face of the brand. The brand is not built around Drew Mac. I just feel like guys like John Cena should not be called the wrestler of the year in the World Wrestling Federation. That makes no sense. It should go without saying. We know John is #1 in this company. So let's give it to The Miz. Let's give it to, I don't know, Wade Barrett or somebody. Like, for example, Michael Jordan. He could have won MVP every year he played. I feel like Patrick Mahomes can also win MVP every year. But why? Let's give other QBs some shine. We know Patrick is the best in the world, but let's give other players some shine. So that is my criteria on who is the Wrestler of the Year in the World Wrestling Federation. I think it's Drew Mac. Based on, look what Drew Mac is doing right now, post CM Punk. Now he is hunting down every member of the Bloodline. So my thoughts are, who is Roman Reigns going to wrestle at WrestleMania? I think there is a strong possibility that it might be Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy. Based on if he is hunting down every member of the OG Bloodline, that means Roman is last. So if we do the math, he's done with Sami Zayn. So his next victim is Jimmy Uso. That might be a 2-month feud. So after that, he's going after Jay. That also might be a 2-month feud. So do the math. Roman is last. That's going to be around WrestleMania time. So by that same logic, it does make sense for Roman and Drew Mac to face off at next year's WrestleMania. Now, this time it's different. This is a different, more aggressive, vicious Drew Mac. He is a dick, a jerk, and he's cocky and fucking arrogant. He's the perfect guy to face off against this version of Roman Reigns. This is a new and improved Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy. He is no longer Braveheart. He is no longer Conan the Barbarian. This is a new dickhead heel Drew Mac. If Drew Mac is on a revenge tour, well, it makes sense for him to conclude Roman Reigns as his last opponent on this tour. Now, who should win? I think Drew Mac has to win based on he's never beaten Roman. So we gotta make it happen. It's time for Roman to put guys over. Like, he was undefeated for the past 4 years. So yes, now it's time for Roman to put guys over who need the rub. Guys like Solo, guys like Drew Mac, guys like Cody Rhodes. It's time for Roman to put over talent. This will be a great feud because both guys have changed for the past 2 years. This is not the Clash at the Castle Drew Mac. He is not Braveheart. He is not Mel Gibson. He is not Conan the Barbarian. This is a new and improved heel Drew Mac versus the new Roman Reigns, who is now a good guy. So I think it's going to be Drew Mac versus Roman Reigns, our fake ass tribal chief. Our real tribal chief, it is Solo Sikoa. I feel like, yes, Drew Mac is the Wrestler of the Year in the World Wrestling Federation. He's had the best promos. He outperformed CM Punk. He carried CM Punk in that feud, and he was better than MJF. That feud was better than CM Punk versus MJF. That is facts on facts. And Drew Mac won the Money in the Bank, even though CM Punk fucked it all up because he is a jealous ass prick who is a psychopath. Imagine traveling halfway across the earth just to ruin Drew McIntyre's life. That is crazy. CM Punk is a psychopath. But after CM Punk ruined Drew McIntyre's life at Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre, he got his revenge on SmackDown in Chicago. That's what I mean. He is the Wrestler of the Year in the World Wrestling Federation in 2024. So he beat up CM Punk in Chicago on SmackDown and he stole his bracelet. That's called being a monster heel. But Drew Mac was justified on doing that to CM Punk. He asked for it. Imagine ruining somebody's life in front of his wife and his hometown country. That was crazy. I can't believe CM Punk did that. I'm like, damn, dude, you hate Drew McIntyre that bad? Also, I agree with Wade Barrett at that time. He said that CM Punk should have been fired for posing as a referee at Clash at the Castle. That's facts. CM Punk should be fired for fucking over Drew Mac. Also, Drew Mac is actually putting over Jimmy Uso. The feud between Drew Mac and Jimmy, this is great for Jimmy because he might branch out away from Jay. He needs to branch out. He needs to find his own gimmick. Stop saying no yeet. Find your own character and try to get over. This might be the most important feud of Jimmy's whole entire career. He's about to feud with a main eventer, who is Drew Mac. So this is sink or swim for Jimmy. Are you better than Jay? So I think Drew Mac's star power is going to help Jimmy get over as a solo wrestler. So this is how I look at it. I feel like Drew Mac is the wrestler of the year in the World Wrestling Federation, but when it comes to the entire landscape of professional fake pro wrestling, it is Cody Rhodes. He is number one out of all the companies. When it comes to the pecking order, like a John Cena, Roman Reigns, Stone Cold, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, guys like that, you don't call them the wrestlers of the year in their company. No, you call them the number one wrestlers in the world. You call them the wrestlers of the year out of all the companies in the entire world. For example, just because Macklemore won Album of the Year at the Grammys, that don't mean he's the number one rapper in the world. That is not how that works. If Drake wins Album of the Year at the Grammys, that don't mean he is the number one rapper in the world when it comes to talent. I think that Drew Mac has had the best matches all year long on Raw, and he should be named the Wrestler of the Year based on he carried CM Punk in every match that they had. Imagine, he made CM Punk look half decent